Alrighty then, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. Hope everyone is doing well out there. I know I'm doing well here. David, I think you're doing well over there. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Everybody, mark the calendars. We got a real answer. This is a huge momentous moment, and I just want to thank everyone that was a part of this. No, just kidding there. But I'm happy you're doing good, Dave. Another week, another time of fun. We did a Super Bowl show last week, and the Super Bowl occurred, Dave. But before we get to that, I'm going to stop you in your thoughts. I see you thinking. Everybody, please like, share, follow, subscribe, rate this 5 stars if you are listening. And as always, spread it word of mouth. If you like what you hear, please tell everyone you know, because it can only help us. And especially rating the 5 stars. Do that on Spotify, do that on iTunes, because that pushes us up as a political podcast, which there are many, but none are better. And as always, socials, not actually giving it to you. You people don't deserve it yet, but go search the Alex Cuesta Show. Anywhere you can find the social, and you'll find us. So back to where I was. David, we did a Super Bowl show, and I have to say, with what our predictions and how the game worked out, we did pretty fucking good predicting the game.
I don't remember a lot of what we said. I do remember my final prediction.
Which Were you high?
Yeah, probably. Which was like 27-20 Rams, I believe. So I was actually pretty close.
And I was on the spread. I had 34-31. So the point spread was correct. I got the 3 points, but we both overshot it because I think we both really thought the offenses were going to have an advantage. And it ended up that the defenses actually showed up and played pretty well for most of that game, besides Jalen Ramsey and Eli Apple. Jalen Ramsey giving up 160
yards. That was
yards,
something I was wrong about.
Oh my God.
Said, any defense that has Jalen Ramsey on it, I'm going to pick. And he's like the one guy that played not good in the Rams defense.
He didn't play very good. Then again, you're chasing around Jamari Chase the whole time. And I don't care, like we said that Bryce Hall kind of had it figured out. We also forgot to mention that Bryce Hall got away with not giving up the touchdown that Jamari Chase dropped in the first quarter, which was a gimme for Jamari Chase. But credit to the Bengals. The Rams ended up winning. What was the final score? 23-20? Rams ended up winning. And credit to the Bengals, though. They battled. They made it a game. Jamari Chase had such a beautiful catch early. That one-hand grab that he came rolling in up the right sideline in the first. Joe Burrow looked good. He didn't look in over his head. What was in over their head, Dave, was that Cincinnati offensive line. They were good in the first half. Whatever adjustments the Rams made, they brought in the second half. Burrow could not plant his foot quick enough to get the ball out, Dave. It was concerning. It was concerning watching it, and we thought Burrow went down for a second.
It gets really tough stopping that Rams D line from getting in for a whole game. For a whole game, it gets very difficult, especially if they, after the first, second quarter, you have a feel for the O-line. You kind of know where they're actually going, who's more the weaker link, what side. So they're going to run more stunts that'll prey on your weaknesses, and they'll do different things, and they'll find a way to get Aaron Donald in one-on-ones whenever possible, and then they'll start breaking through, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, they definitely did, and they can rely on just basically rushing 4 and dropping 9. So they have a huge dropping 9, dropping 8. No, 4 and 7. What am I doing? I can't math. Dropping 7. And
I was letting you go.
Shut up, Dave. But rushing 4 and dropping 7. They really didn't have to blitz much or do any stunts. I don't know the blitz numbers. I don't think they did it often, if at all. But they played well there. Burrow and Chase played well. The Bengals never really got mixing going. They tried and they tried and they tried, but they were never really able to get mixing going, and that hurt. Where on the other side, the Rams stayed settled in, and it looks like that offense.
Well, they couldn't get Akers going either, though.
They didn't, but I'm saying they didn't get Akers going, but I feel like the line settled in more and more as the game progressed for the Rams. And you saw Stafford getting cleaner pockets, being able to step. And honestly, late in the game, it became the Stafford Cup show. because there was no one on the Bengals that could cover Cooper Kupp when it came down to crunch time. Those two guys won the football game, and obviously Kupp won the MVP. And I think you could have argued to give it to Stafford either way too, because Stafford had to overcome adversity. They had a Odell Beckham Jr. shot out of a fucking cannon in the first quarter when no offense was doing anything. Neither offense was kind of moving. All of a sudden, Odell Beckham's like, yep, that's my cue. And he ended up just making 2 catches at 52 yards on 2 catches, and then goes down, tears his ACL, and he's now out of the game. So the only offensive weapon that was working for the Rams went down. So now Stafford makes an adjustment. Sean McVay needs to adjust. And I think both teams battled. I thought the Rams did a good job adjusting there, Dave. Now, I have to ask you, there were things today about Sean McVay being non-committal about coming back to the Rams. Do you think McVay has a chance of leaving?
I'm pretty sure he said run it back to Aaron Donald at the parade. And Aaron Donald also said run it back. So I think he's at least going to be here for another year.
Now, Deebo Samuel had a tweet saying we need to get rid of turf fields. Get turf out of here. When with OBJ getting hurt and everything. How do you feel about that? Do you think that there should be only grass, or do you think that turf has a place for the games? Because turf has gotten better and better as the years have gone on, but it still does give guys a lot of problems. Turf toe is a legitimate injury.
Yeah, when I used to play football at all, I hated turf. I did not like turf fields. It kind of looks cool when you first see it. Then when you're actually playing on it and you're actually running, it's just like, no, give me grass, please.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that sentiment. I don't know. Some people may like turf better. Some people who played football for longer may like turf better. I have no idea. But to me, grass has always been better.
I don't think there's a single soul that likes turf better. It gets super hot when it's hot, like you're playing in 10, 15 degrees hotter when the sun's out. It's unforgiving when you land on it. It's hard. No, turf sucks every which way. The thing about turf is it's cheap because it's a lot less to keep. You put it down once, you have it for 30, 25 years, and all you have to do is regroom it every year. Where grass, you have to constantly replace it, grow it, resod it. It ends up being cheaper in the long run, even though it's more expensive to initially put down. But I have to agree with Samuel. It gets out of there. Who knows if OBJ ever gets hurt, if his cleat doesn't get stuck in the turf and he tears his ACL. It was such a freak thing where his cleat got stuck and you see his foot bending up, like not natural. Like there's a picture that caught the moment of it happening where his foot's just bent up and it's not natural. And, I don't know if we all thought it was that bad. We knew it was going to take him out. And obviously when he came back in street clothes, it wasn't good. But man, another ACL, what does that do for OBJ? Where does he stand now as a player coming back? Like, are we going to get that explosion again?
I don't know. I mean, there's always the possibility. I think he'll still be good. He's always been a very good just hands catcher of the ball.
Yeah.
Obviously, how quick and how fast he is was what made him so dangerous. But I think he'll still be able to be quick and fast. I mean, it just takes a lot of rehabbing, a lot of work. He's already been down a lot of obstacles before. So I think he'll be all right. He may not be number one wide receiver material for a team anymore because of so much damage, but I think he'll still be a good weapon for a team.
Now, I'm happy he revamped his career. He showed he could be a team guy again. He showed that he could be that guy on the Rams. New York apparently is the destination for him to come back and not the Giants. The Jets apparently are one of the top 4 teams that Beckham can come back to. And I read a piece and it's like, if you put Moore, Davis, and Beckham as a starting 3, that is a dangerous trio. You as a Jets fan, do you have any interest in Beckham coming to the Jets at the right price?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him at the right price at all. No, why would I really say no? Especially if I don't think we're going to get other receivers on the market, depending on where they want to go or where they end up, I don't mind getting Beckham at all.
Do you think he's a locker room cancer or anything like that? Or the way that he's very me? Like he is a very flashy, likes to be out there, likes to be the center of attention. But do you think it has a negative aspect?
No, I think the thing is about Odell, I mean, you saw him get the ball on the Rams, but he wasn't the focal point on the Rams.
No,
This dispels the whole argument.
Yeah.
It dispels the whole argument for him. But that's the thing, is it's just literally, hey, I'm open, get me the ball. Because that's what happens. Stafford's like, okay, I know he's good in this situation. I'm going to throw the ball to OBJ, or he's open here. I'm just going to throw the ball to him. It's not him asking to be a number one wide receiver. It's him saying, I'm open.
I really miss the Cleveland memes that people were making where it was like any other receiver, like Jarvis Landry on the numbers, Njoku on the numbers, Odell Beckham into like the 19th row. Like every single, like it was really that way. For Beckham, it was like spectacular catcher, don't do it. Where everyone else, like Baker, I don't know if he hated Odell. It seems like he didn't like Odell, but
it could have just been a chemistry thing. Sometimes quarterbacks and wide receivers just don't jive.
That is true. That is true. Last thing before we cut out of the Super Bowl, we saw Joe Burrow get there his second year. He's a comeback player of the year, well-deserved as a comeback player of the year. And it's his second year in the league. He showed that he could be really good before going down with an injury. It was like a beautiful, beautiful thing for him to even get to this point and as well as he played. But this is now the second young quarterback early in his career over the last, when was Patty Mahomes first in the Super Bowl? 4 years ago now. In the past, 5 years, young guy jumping in. It was 4 or 3 years. It was pretty recent. He's another one. Who's next, Dave? You have Justin Herbert. You have a guy like Watson who hasn't been there. No. Zach Wilson, but you have Wilson. You have Mac Jones. You have Tua. There's a lot of young talent. Lamar hasn't gotten there, even though he's done well. There's a lot of young, really talented guys out there. Who do you think out of the young crop right now? I don't think this quarterback class is expected to be much, but you never know. There could be a diamond in the rough here. Who are you expecting to make that leap?
Young crop, are we still counting like Joe Burrow down?
Yeah, Joe Burrow down. Just basically the next up group. Kyler Murray is still in there. Like young guys that are not veteran. Maybe Deshaun Watson qualifies as a veteran now.
Yeah, he's a veteran now.
He's a veteran, but kind of the first, second, third year guys.
Yeah. I'd probably say Justin Herbert top wise, at least with what he's shown, and just no fear. Him saying he wants to go out and go for it in every fourth down. Absolutely no fear, just gunslinger, man. Yep. And he does it well. I'm actually very high on Lamar. I understand the issues with his passing, and I'm not a Ravens fan. I don't watch a lot of Ravens football, but I have seen him in situations where he might not be the greatest passer in the world, but he'll get it done a good amount of times, it seems. Yeah. Plus, just with his playmaking ability, I feel like I don't think his wide receiver core is great over there. No. I don't think a lot of things are great over there, and he still makes a lot of plays. So I'm high on Lamar. Some people may take umbrage with that, but out of the rookies, I think it's really too early to tell. I mean, if Belichick's still around, I think Mac Jones has a good chance. Not like Mac Jones is bad, but I think Mac Jones is going to be more mid overall in his career. He could be really good, but I just see him being more of like a middle kind of quarterback. If it gets really tough from there, because it's just like, if they reach the ceiling, and if the team does well enough, certain quarterbacks could do really, really well.
Yeah.
I have the utmost faith in Zach as a Jets fan because I want him to do well, and I think he can be damn good. But if we're just talking 3 years down, definitely Herbert and Lamar. After that, only really those that we've seen kind of up there right now. If I'm missing someone, let me know. But
yep. So I'm agree with you. Herbert is definitely up there. I think Kyler's still there. I know Kyler's having these issues right now with the team and things are going on, but you can't discount what Kyler can do. Kyler is an extremely gifted player, and he's shown it. Yeah, he's crumbled a few times in big games, but man, Peyton Manning didn't win a playoff game until, what was it? His fourth or fifth year, and then he kept on not getting to the Super Bowl. He kept on getting close. It took the man, I think, 7 or 8 years to win a Super Bowl. Maybe it took him a long time to get to the Super Bowl. So it's not like guys get to the playoffs and perform. John Elway's another one. Dan Marino never got it done. Jim Kelly never got it done, and they're all greats. So Kyler has that opportunity to jump in there. We've seen the skill. I do have faith in Zach. After watching him play, after seeing what he did, especially the last 5 games, anytime you can get a kid to not turn the ball over, and then watching him, he wasn't just a check down Charlie. Yes, he learned how to check down, but he wasn't just a check down Charlie. He still made his schoolyard plays. He still showed off that arm. And once he was confident in those last 5 weeks, the numbers, if you watch the games, you saw him stepping up and throwing darts in really tight windows. You saw him taking chances. You saw him doing what good quarterbacks do. And when it's a deep ball, overthrow or catch. Great quarterbacks, when they throw the deep ball, like your Big Ben's, even though I hate the motherfucker, thank God you're gone, but he was a great deep ball thrower. Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson,
I was going to say
Rodgers.
Russell Wilson's probably one of the best we'll ever see.
Yeah, all these deep ball throwers, what is it? If they take that deep shot, it's either their receiver goes and gets it, or it's overthrown. You rarely see them underthrowing these guys because they know it's a chance of an interception. So I see that type of stuff in Zach. So are the Jets going to be a great team next year? No. Do I see Zach Wilson taking the step to will games for the Jets to win games that they shouldn't win because Zach Wilson? Fuck yeah, I do. Because I saw him take that progression. I hope I'm right. Maybe this is me homering, but I thought he did just fine. Trevor Lawrence is in a tough situation. I think the guy has the arm talent. I really do. I watched him play. The dude just slings it around. He reminds me of Herbert in the way he had no fear. Mm-hmm. Herbert had a much better team around him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was also handicapped by Urban Meyer. Let's see what happens if he gets a real coach and what happens down there. I forget the kid's name on the Bears.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Justin Fields showed flashes. He showed flashes, and I see
He's
a
also
lot of
in a tough predicament over there.
Tough predicament, but I see a lot of Deshaun Watson in him in the way that he plays. Maybe he's not as accurate and as clean of a passer as Deshaun Watson was. He's a little more athletic than he is, but I do see that type of player in him. And in terms of Mac Jones, Mac Jones could be Trent Dilfer, and Trent Dilfer won a championship. Mac Jones could be that type of guy where I
think he'll be better than Trent Dilfer, but
I think he's just an advanced game manager. I don't think he's great, but I think he is that guy that, okay, he manages the game. Do you need a good 25-yard out? He can make that one play. He can make 2 or 3 plays to win games, but he's not going to be the guy that if you need him to throw 45 to 50 times every single game, you're going to have a good season with that. That's not going to happen. So out of the rookies, my hierarchy, I think in terms of situational, you got to
put Trey Lance.
Trey Lance needs to play. And I'm curious about watching him play. He needs to play. I think
it would be interesting if he comes out crazy.
I like Trey Lance. Dave, hold on. We fucked up here. How did we forget Josh Allen?
How did we forget Josh?
Thank God we're not a sports show anymore. We're just kind of everything. We forgot Josh Allen. So erase, maybe knock someone else off a peg. Josh Allen's on top of all of them.
I kind of put him there already. That's the thing. Like I kind of put him like in the Mahomes-Burrow level in my mind.
Yeah. Maybe. So is he ahead of? So he's ahead of everyone.
He's ahead of Herbert.
He doesn't need to be in this list.
I guess like that's the excuse I'm gonna make. That's why I forgot him. But he's ahead of Herbert.
Yes, he would be the top guy.
Yeah,
on this list, I think consensus. But yeah, we fucked up. Thank God 100%.
Yeah, well, it's probably because I brought up Trey Lance. You probably compared Trey Lance to Josh Allen.
Where does Jalen Hurts fit in this? He's had success. He looks good. He willed the Eagles to a playoffs. He played very well late down the stretch. He proved a lot of people wrong. So where does Jalen Hurts fit into all this?
I don't watch enough Eagles games. The minute times I talk to Eagles fans about the Eagles, they don't seem to like his consistency. Whether that changes, I don't know.
Quick question. Is Rager being bad at his job something that you can hold? Because he was handicapped by having one basically good wide receiver there.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Rager caught less balls than Henry Ruggs did, and Henry Ruggs played 5 games. And Rager for the full season, or maybe 4, whatever, maybe for the full season, Rager had less. That's a big detriment.
I have no idea. I can't say anything for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts did make some good plays, and he did make some boneheaded plays.
Yep.
I just don't know where to put him on that list because inconsistency. He can be really good at times, and he just can be really bad at times.
All right. So I couldn't close out a Super Bowl. It was a great Super Bowl. I think we predicted instant classic, and that's really where it landed. It was a really good way, and it was kind of poetry that Aaron Donald made the last play for the Rams to kind of seal it up. And the fact that he was still on the field at that point, I feel like Matt Santos would have lost that bet because he would have probably bet that Aaron Donald would have choked somebody out and got ejected.
He was close.
He was very close on the sideline to choking somebody out. We were almost correct that Aaron Donald maybe didn't last the full game, but he did, and he made the final game-winning play. Yeah. So it was a great game. It was overall a very, very well-played, well-competitive game. I do hope Zach Taylor and the Bengals come back because they're a fun team. They're in the AFC. I want the Jets to beat them, but man, they were lots of fun. Their belief, their hope, their everything about them, their swagger was a good time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do, but we both are happy for the Rams. Both happy for Stafford, OBJ, guys that needed it, deserved it. Von Miller gets number 2. So good for all of them.
Yep.
All right. So let's go here. We're going to jump into, World War II Germany, essentially, which is our current Canada. So Justin Trudeau is a douchebag. We all know this. He's parades around in blackface. Your qualification to be prime minister of Canada is to be in blackface. So he's done that multiple times, gotten away with it. And he's an unabashed socialist. The Labour Party in Canada, like the Labour Party in Europe, is socialist. That is not even a secret at this point. So we covered the Freedom Convoy and what they're doing and how awesome they are over in Canada. If you don't know, truckers, basically thousands of them blocked up Parliament Hill in Ottawa, and Justin Trudeau's a little bitch and ran away and escaped. Parliament members were there. They were very peaceful. This is now going on. Is this almost week 3 now?
It's the Liberal Party in Canada. I want to make sure you got that correct.
Yeah, Liberal Party. Yeah, Liberal Party is that. Okay. I mixed it up with the UK and everything. But
yes, I understand.
Yeah. But what has it been? 3 weeks now this protest is going on?
Oh,
we'll be on the 3rd weekend this weekend?
I think so. Yeah. It feels almost like forever at this point.
It does. And they blocked it. And the farmers have joined in with tractors over in Toronto. And it spread through Canada. This is not the only place it has spread. It has also gone into New Zealand, Israel, Australia. It has gone a lot of places. So what does Justin Trudeau do as a very good statesman, as a man of the people, as someone who is very supportive of labor and blue collar workers, AKA truck drivers and farmers and all this, that rah, rah, rah. He's about to use the Emergency Powers Act, which essentially is like it would replace their Wartime Powers Act, and will start to treat these peaceful protesters, truckers, blue collar workers as domestic terrorists. They are going to start using terrorist actions against them. Not terrorist actions, but treating them like terrorists for peacefully protesting. I don't know about you, Dave. I haven't been able to watch the graphic videos of these protests. It's been really hard to watch. Whenever you got to go to try and watch a video, you have to click on mature above 18. Like, it's really tough to watch when you just see all the singing and you just see people shoveling each other out.
You see the hockey.
You see hockey. You see singing and gas, maybe a drink or two happening. It's hard to watch. It's not like when, the summer of George Floyd, where it was so much fun. You saw all the fire, not fireworks, fire, everything on fire. You saw cars getting flipped. You've heard cops getting killed. Like, what's better? What's better than, people dying and cities being destroyed and businesses being messed up because, they have insurance. Like, honestly, Dave, if you're going to do a protest, they're doing it the wrong way. Peaceful. I guess if you're violent, you scare the government into not doing things. And if you're peaceful, you then get treated like a terrorist. Dave, how is this going on? I think the prime minister of El Salvador came out and basically was like, Canada preaches about freedom and democracy to everyone, and they have now zero credibility on this.
Well, I mean, if you want to go down like the rabbit hole reasoning of why it's going on, like World Economic Forum stuff, and this would be a much longer podcast. But it's
we go into a Rogan podcast link.
Yeah, it's just to make it kind of quick. It's just Justin Trudeau does not actually care about what these people are protesting about. He just cares about getting what is essentially what his lobbyists want done. I think that's the best way to put it. What his lobbyists want done, the people he knows that either keep him in power or keep him paid. And you could really put that with almost any person in a lot of political positions now. They just do what their lobbyists want done. It's the same thing with Justin Trudeau. Their lobbyists don't want to end these mandates the way the truckers want the mandates ended. They don't want to end these kind of powers that they have over the people right now. And I don't believe you mentioned it, but it wasn't Justin Trudeau. It was the deputy prime minister that came and said that they are now going to have the power to freeze the bank accounts of those involved in this convoy. And I don't know if you realize what I just said. They could freeze the bank accounts of those involved in this convoy.
Her name is Chrystia Freeland, is the vice prime minister, deputy prime minister.
Yes, thank you very much.
And on top of that, Dave, they're also going after the crowdsourced funding of this, not only freezing, but they're also trying to go after crypto. They raised $1 million in crypto, and they're trying to block them from using that. Dave, it's getting really weird out there, and I think we need to mention this too. Our own president, Joe Biden, gave support to Justin Trudeau and saying he's handling it appropriately, and he backs and supports everything that he's doing.
Yet again, same thing I just said. The lobbyists and the people that back those in political power want certain things, and they're going to do those certain things. Because right now, those lobbyists have much more power than whatever the people could give to these the people in political power. So they're just going to follow what the lobbyists want.
And like you're mentioning, when you mentioned World Economic Forum, when in America you have your secretary, what is John Kerry? Secretary of something. He's a wacko, but he's not transportation. Is it climate? Is it some climate bullshit?
Is it climate?
I think it is.
Climate, environment? I don't know.
I think it's something like
to do with the climate. Yeah. I just don't remember the name.
When you have John Kerry there talking, and then you have Anthony Fauci there talking at the World Economic Forum, two people heavily involved in what's going on right now, it's not surprising that is a group of people that has an immense amount of power. Now, again, we mentioned World Economic Forum like a broken record. Please, I want everyone to go there, look up the partners on there, and don't support a single fucking partner on there if you can, because it is a terrible organization. They are quite literally a giant one world government bond organization out in the open, and everyone's just kind of looking and waiting for the guy to pet his cat and kill everybody. Like, it's pretty going crazy right now. Well, I'm sorry, Dave. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I didn't really have much more to say after that. It's just, like Alex said, you don't even have to think, oh, World Economic Forum is one world government. You don't have to think that, because I know that sounds tinfoil hatty, obviously. But the thing is just ask yourself, should the people in political power answer to those that are lobbying them, that have much more money and different kind of interests than those that they should be answering to in their own country? I feel like that's just a very easy question to ask, because Justin Trudeau and the deputy prime minister do not seem to be answering to those that are in their own country right now.
Nope.
I mean, very, very easily, you could at least try to talk to the people in the Freedom Convoy and say, hey, we don't agree with why you want to end the mandates. You could have some kind of discussion. That's not happening. If you haven't noticed, that's not happening at all.
And I feel like the organizers are reasonable people. And if Trudeau, the deputy prime minister, or somebody from the cabinet came out and said, listen, we are willing to meet with the organizers and sit and have good faith conversations about this, if you would agree to start trickling out of here, because the residents would appreciate that.
We don't even have to put it like that. Let's say the organizers aren't reasonable people. Let's say the organizers are actually bad people. Let's bring this hypothesis out here. Let's say that if you are de-escalating a situation and someone has a hostage, someone has hostages, do you just decide to ignore, or do you try to talk to them and get it de-escalated and try to help those and make it a better situation? It's really a simple concept, something you see all the time. If you're going to ignore and just say, no, we're not going to come to the table, we're not going to see, because they're not shooting at you right now. They're not doing anything to you right now. You have the ability to talk and de-escalate, but you're not doing it. One side, unless something else has happened from the last time we talked about this convoy, one side isn't doing anything in the city violence-wise. Like I said, unless something else has happened, I haven't seen it, and someone has proof of it. You could show me. But they're not doing that.
They've honked loudly. They've cursed at people. They've been rude to some business workers. I think one person stole food from a homeless guy, and that person deserves to be kicked out and kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Outside of that, no, we've heard about just them kind of having fun. And the issue that they're doing here, and what I don't think Trudeau cares about this. I think this is kind of the goal to kind of dox these people by themselves by making them wait out and making them swell and swell and swell and swell. You then start to point out, okay, who are the people in society that we want to purge eventually? Because that's really what it's coming down to. Now, Dave, I use the word dox. Do you want to go into what we were going to talk about with doxing going on?
Well, I was just going to say, if you want to look at it in a cynical way, he's kind of trying to provoke them by not saying anything and just calling every ism under the book.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, we'll move on real quick just to give this a brief synopsis because it's really only happened today, I believe.
This happened 2 days ago. The list.
I'm talking about stuff, actually going through the list.
Okay.
So, as you may already know, GoFundMe froze the account for the Freedom Convoy. They went to Give, Send, Go, and the Give, Send, Go account was doing well. I think I had 7 million at one point.
Yep.
I think they're still going actually, but someone, I don't know if they're in Canada or not, but they hacked into it and made the full donor list public. And I believe you said it has the address and everything on there, right?
Let me go look again. I'll actually go search. Keep talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I'm accurate. But the full donor list now went public, and apparently some journalists decided it would be a good idea to go and ask them why they would donate to the Freedom Convoy, asking these people why they would donate. And let's be honest, if you know the way journalists are nowadays, pressuring them, asking them that why they would donate to something that is violent and uproarious. At least it's the way they put it in the article I sent to you.
So the person that put it out there, his name is Dean Blundell. He's a blue check mark and a certified douchebag on Twitter. And when I look at the list, it has how much they gave and it has their names and what they want to put their full names. So it doesn't have addresses and stuff, but you can find out who they are really easily just by looking at this. People, give this to an autist on 4chan and they got this in 2 seconds. So
4chan is not going to touch this. 4chan doesn't care.
But you know what I mean? Okay, you give it to a crazy leftist on Reddit too.
Yes,
go into Reddit and Reddit's gonna hash this out, which they probably are at the moment.
Yes, but it's a story that happened. I think you'll cover it later, but it's a bad thing. I'm just gonna come out and say this. I know there's such things as public donations. I don't know if Give, Send, Go is exactly public, especially if you have to hack in and find out the names and give the whole donor list. But journalists going out and specifically asking certain people why they donated to certain things, especially people that aren't CEOs of big companies, because I get it there. I get it there a little more, but there's no reason to harass these people for who they're donating to. And for the most part, I disagree with this. If you could give me some examples, maybe I could understand, but
we all know why they're doing it. They're not doing it in good faith. They're not doing it because they're genuinely curious. They're trying to out these people and they're trying to make these people feel bad for supporting a bunch of white supremacists and a bunch of yahoos and right-wing, alt-right QAnon supporters. That's what they're doing. These journalists would have never thought of going out and doing it to anyone that donates to Black Lives Matter, which is a legitimate problem in the world. Mm-hmm. They're run by trained Marxists, and anyone that knows anything about Marxists just knows their only goal is to destabilize. Their only goal is to segregate. Their only goal is power. So Black Lives Matter does not give a fuck about Black people, does not care about lives. Well, I'm going off on a tangent, but journalists would not ask them about this shit. They don't ask them because the thing is, it's mandatory to donate to Black Lives Matter if you want to stay around as a company right now, basically. So it's just journalistic malpractice left and right. And they're not just doing their jobs. They're really bad at their jobs. And they're just a blogger economy right now in Germany.
Yeah, and That's why I feel like I came to where I came to as my argument is because if we're in like a kind of neutral period of journalism where it's just questioning, I could understand it a lot more.
Mhm.
But seeing the way news media and journalists behave, I'm sorry, I can't take it in good faith that these people are just asking for whatever reason.
Well, where they behave right now is they're behaving like the French journalists with the Fourth Estate when they were the ones that helped try and drive the French Revolution and got it there.
No.
And then you get Robespierre.
No. Let's bring it more recent. They're behaving like Walter Duranty, hungry, not starving.
Yeah.
And then you get a Pulitzer, and then you never revoke the Pulitzer, New York Times, for covering up the Holodomor. Okay, we can move on now. Because it's not like this is new.
Well, but listen, the New York Times is quite literally the worst newspaper on the planet because not only did they help try and cover up the Holocaust, they also denied how terrible Russia was during the awful years. Yeah. They have just been a awful organization. They are a group of terrible people because you know what? It's not hard to look up the history. If you go to work for the New York Times, you're probably a shithead or you're ignorant. And there's no other way to look about it.
No, listen, the thing is if you don't know what I just brought up, the Holodomor, if you do not know what that is, because you brought up the Holocaust, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the Holodomor is, so one, I'm going to ask you to look that up. And I'm going to ask you to be in a good head state before you look it up, because it's some of the most evil stuff that's ever happened on this earth.
Yes.
And number two, I'm going to also ask you to ask yourself why you were never taught about the Holodomor, why you were never taught about something I think damn near just as vile as the Holocaust.
Yeah, probably.
Ask yourself why you weren't asked about the Great Leap Forward and Mao's Cultural Revolution. Ask yourself why you were never taught about that. Why you were never taught about the things families did to each other during that time in China.
And about the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia and Pol Pot.
There's plenty. And that's not me trying to, before someone might say it, but that's not me trying to downplay the Holocaust at all. What I'm saying is that there are plenty of tragedies that have happened that we should learn about, that we should learn from, and that we should realize to never let happen again. We only learn about a certain few. Ask yourself why that is and who were the leaders at the time when these things happened.
Yeah, and I'll just do the common thread for you, David. They're all on the left. They're all leftist. Every single one of these atrocities is leftism, including the Trail of Tears, Andrew Jackson, including in our own country, internment camps, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, including resegregating the White House and helping to bring back the Ku Klux Klan, Woodrow Wilson, leftist. So let's not, we can get into the weeds here. You want to talk about the worst things that the right did? The right, let's talk about it, Dave. Let's just lay it out there right now. The Crusades sucked. That was a right thing because it was, traditionalism, monarchy. That is a rightist thing. We'll accept that. Give me another. They can't, Dave. No one can.
And the thing, I truly want to find more because I
agree. Learn from it. What we shouldn't do as conservatives.
Like,
and as people on the right.
I want to find more because I fully believe, because there are times where traditionalism just becomes cults. We've seen them pop up. There's certain things can just.
We see the abuses of James Lindsay right now by the insane religious right that attacks him because he's an atheist instead of just applauding him for pointing out bullshit.
Yeah. All right. Now we went off.
We've gone on. The one last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Trudeau, what's going on in Canada, the freedom convoys. I mentioned that others have been spurned, that New Zealand, Israel, Australia are the ones that come to mind. And I've also meant, and we've talked about, we hope Americans will jump on. Where the fuck are we? They put out a Facebook page. They want to get 90,000 truckers from California to DC. I'm not a trucker, Dave. I can't help get this involved. I don't have a big vehicle. Maybe I'll go down to DC when they get there and meet them and be a part of the rally. But it's not like I'm somebody who has authority in this to kind of organize it. It needs to be a trucker. It needs to be a blue collar movement. It needs to be something. And Americans right now, like a lot of the things that me and you get angry about with the Republican Party, they're all talk. They're all bullshit right now because nothing has been organized. Nothing's been done. The fact that our Western brethren, New Zealand, Israel, Australia, are doing it, maybe it's because they've been a little more totalitarian and how they've been treated. So they've been pushed further. But come on, we should be leading by example. This is back to the Obama era where we're just leading from behind. America should be ahead of this shit, and we're not. And it's embarrassing in every which way.
Yeah, you gave the reason. It's just because we haven't been as harsh as other places.
We pushed back quicker, though, in different ways with our different states.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is this the authoritarian, tyrannical stuff that's been going on in some of these Western countries has not been as bad in the U.S. Maybe in some states it's been pretty bad, but even then, in some of those states, the people kind of want it. I'm not going to lie to you; the people kind of want it. So. That's basically why it hasn't happened as quickly as it has in other.
Then you have people like me in those states that just don't do it.
Exactly.
And no one says shit.
Yeah, but that's why it hasn't popped up. I think they're still actually working on it. So I would not be surprised if it happens. And if they're actually taking this long to do it, it might be pretty big. Who knows? I mean,
it's either going to be pretty big or it's going to be terrible. It's going to be, and if it's terrible, here's the thing: don't do it at this point if it's just going to dud, because these other countries have had thousands coming out. New Zealand tried to wait it out, and then when they did, it swelled down from get to hundreds, and now it's back up to like 3,000. New Zealand's about to use the National Guard or something against it. If it's going to happen in the United States, if we are going to go and sit in DC as conservatives and people on the left that just want to end this shit, because it's not just people on the right.
It's not even as conservatives. It's not as conservatives.
It's not as
people
conservatives.
that are tired of being told what to do.
Yes. There's people on the left that were interviewed in Canada saying, listen, I'm a labor supporter. I'm a liberal, but I did my part. I got the vax, I got the boost, but I don't believe anyone else has to. And that's what it's been. It's about ending mandates. It's about ending authoritarianism. And the fact that what makes me mad, Dave, is we're supposed to be the freedom leaders on this shit. And we're not.
It's the funniest thing because it's also not following the science, especially right now. It's not following the science.
The difference is we're following science, not the science. The science is St. Fauci of DCC. Is Lord Fauci himself. Honestly, the best meme with Fauci is whenever they put him in the hoods as Darth Sidious, because he actually looks perfectly like Darth Sidious. And again, save me. Biden, save me. Oh, Rand Paul's being mean to me again. Rand Paul's Mace Windu. Anyway,
that's not a good end for Rand Paul, then.
Listen, if he keeps going the way he is, the people on the friggin' Republicans are about to throw him to the wolves because they're a bunch of soft bitches too in there. I can go on about the Republicans. You have anything to say to close it out before we move on?
No, we can move on.
All right. So this is your segment, Dave. You wanted to talk about something that I found interesting. You said it and you refused to tell me about it until today. You wanted to talk about...
That's untrue.
I think you're lying.
I told you what I wanted to talk about. I just didn't give you details.
Yeah, you're a hat. Anyway, you want to talk about small talk. The floor is yours. Introduce this. And I'm going to tell everybody, whether I agree with him or not, I'm going to disagree with him. Playing devil's advocate here to make it fun. Go ahead, Dave.
That's fine. So, as some people may know, there was a book that came out, I believe, last year. I think it was last year, called In Defense of Looting. Today, I'm going to talk about something that some people almost hate just as much as looting. I'm going to speak in defense of small talk. Now,
what
are you? Yeah, hey, there's how many people hate on small talk? It almost is like it's looting time from someone's day. That's the way people try to put it. But my thing on small talk is I get being a little unhappy when a good friend of yours tries to have some small talk. But the thing about it is with me is that if a stranger is just asking you how your day is or like nice weather, huh? It's because they have nothing else to springboard off of.
So what do you preface as small talk? Like you said between friends, like, but what is your what are you preferencing as small talk here? What did you consider? Would what I try to do to you at the beginning of every show be small talk?
Somewhat. And that's why I answered to that. You think ahead.
Hold on. The guy that's defending small talk refused to do small talk for years of shows.
But that's why I said if it's someone you know well, you may dislike it. And I get that. I get that completely because there's almost no reason for it if you know someone very well. Like I have no reason to go up to my best friend and be like, pretty sunny today, huh? I could, but I so many other things to jump off of that I could just start a conversation with. When you're talking to a stranger, you know nothing about this person. You know absolutely nothing about this person. Small talk is a way to engage. And you start a new job. You're not going to start off asking someone about their marriage. That's not something you're going to do.
Why not? See, to me, small talk, what you're saying there, small talk is a form of cowardice. It really is.
No,
you're not being willing to step out on a ledge and engage. Just because you don't know the person, if you're sitting there, if you're a dude and you see a female and you like her blouse, don't start off with how's it going. Say, listen, your blouse is really nice. Take it from there because a compliment goes 1,000. A compliment's genuine. A compliment's real. Small talk is not.
Small talk is specifically a way to engage. It is. Are you looking up ways to argue against small talk?
No, that was off my head right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but small talk is a way to engage. It is a way to break through someone's shell because most people.
It turns off so many. So listen, when you're trying to pick up a girl at a bar, do you go in with small talk? No, that's why they invented pickup lines because small talk
goes
sucks.
To a bar? Who goes to a bar?
I mean, only heathens who want to spread the virus more. Anyway, but no, you don't go. That's why they invented pickup lines. Though pickup lines suck, but they're not small talk.
You're bringing up an example.
Yes, a prevalent example
that is completely different to what I'm talking about. So when you're picking up a girl at a bar, you are going into the conversation with a specific connection in mind. Both you and the woman have a specific connection in mind, whether or not it's to actually go home or whatever like that.
You tell me that's not true for the workplace?
Doesn't want to talk. No, not at all. Hopefully not.
But you're not in Cuomo's administration?
And no, sir. And I'm not at CNN either.
Oh.
But for me, when you are talking to a stranger, and especially if it's not going to be for long, small talk is a way to just open up conversation, to allow yourselves to feel each other out, especially if you don't know how this person sounds either. I'm not going to lie to you. If you went up to Mike Tyson as a normal person and you tried to engage with them and it's a specific connection, you heard the way he sounds after asking a somewhat serious question, you might be a little dumbfounded at first. Small talk helps you get through that.
Who shocks you even more with their voice, Mike Tyson or Michael Thomas?
Oh, I haven't heard Mike Thomas speak in a minute.
Oh my God, it's similar to Mike Tyson because he's like, Michael Thomas is there, just got done catching 21 passes for 300 yards and 15 touchdowns. And he's like, yeah, I think we had a great game, man. It's like, whoa, why did you stop at 12? But no, so here's the deal. And here's my pushback against that with the whole feeling out. If you're not going to have a long conversation with them, then why talk? Like, what's the point of being there and making that talk? If you're not going to engage with them and have a good
need to speak to each other.
No, they don't. Haven't you read memes? I need to be alone. I don't want the drama. I like being alone.
Those are people hiding in their own depression. We are a social animal. We need to speak to each other. That is how we thrive. And that's why listen, what we're arguing, both of us, what we're arguing right now is I'm arguing to use a needle. You're arguing to use a hammer. Both can be useful in situations.
Okay. But what happened to hello? What happened to,
hello is part of small talk.
Yeah, but hello's actually a greeting. A greeting is different. You still want to greet somebody. Like, it's not, to me, it's like you're advocating for useless banter. That's what you're advocating for. Useless banter that's not productive.
It's fine to not be productive. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It is okay to not be productive sometimes.
You sound like Karl Marx.
That is complete. No, Karl Marx would be complaining.
Karl Marx is cool. He's like, you don't need to do production and work for the man. You essentially don't want to work for a connection and a conversation. You want the easy way out. You want the communist answer to conversations.
You're being ridiculous. No. What I am saying is not everyone wants to have a productive conversation right off the bat. You need sometimes to find a way into their shields through just something that's nonsense. Something that doesn't matter too much.
I mean, because but you could also go up if a guy's wearing a pocketed t-shirt and be like, dude, I like your pocket. That's better than any small talk you can find. because you know what? They'll brag about that pocket and everything they can use it for.
But that is a connection, just like I spoke about.
But
sometimes you don't have these connections.
But that's not useless. And you can make those connections quickly and more authentic
after small talk.
Before small talk. You don't need
you could do
small talk. It is
a lot
the only
easier after small talk.
The only small talk that is actually I think
small talk.
The only small talk that I'll accept and is necessary is from New Jersey. Because how you doing is everything. So that's the only place. Because how you doing means hi. How you doing means what's going on. How you doing means go fuck yourself. How you doing means everything in New Jersey. So
you watch too much Friends.
I mean, or just live there. So look, why don't you conclude out with your small talk, and I will give my final rebuttal.
I feel like you already gave your final rebuttal.
I did not. There's always more. There's always more.
You just want to have the last word.
Of course I do. It's my show.
Even though you said it was my segment.
But technically it's still my show. There's a reason it's not called Questa Dos anymore. You're not co-equal.
Just the crux of the argument is small talk can be useful when used correctly, and it can be used to make genuine connections with people through allowing them to get used to you and be able to open up to you.
Okay. I'll accept that. I still think it's wrong. I still think you're looking at conversation through a communist lens, but I guess we can let you have that one because it was your segment on small talk. I hope I successfully derailed it, because that
100%.
Only goal was to derail it, even though it could have been a productive conversation. But I think we had enough productive conversation on this show. So, all right, everyone, if you made it this long, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed David trying to be serious and me trying to fuck everything up about it. David's never going to want to do another segment to lead again. But if you did enjoy what you hear, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, spread this word of mouth. It's, biggest way we can get going. You heard some sports, you heard some politics with some serious stuff. You got a little bit of laughs at the end. This is what you can get from us at all times. We probably aren't going to do another 3-subject show. We're trying to keep it more to 1, but there was enough to talk about this week. There was a lot of important things to talk about this week. So we had to kind of do it that way, but yeah, socials, you don't deserve them still. Go search the Alex Cuesta Show anywhere you can find it, and you'll see it. My Bland logo, the Alex Cuesta Show, takes like a 2-year-old reading level. If your 2-year-olds reading, they're fucking awesome too, by the way. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it all. So long, everybody.